When you think about smart investments, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Stocks? Real estate? Bonds? Maybe? Well, today we're going to look at an asset class that might just be parked in your dream garage. Let's dive in and find out why that car you've always wanted could actually be one of the best financial moves you ever make.
Let's just start with a number, 185%. What kind of investment do you think could pull off that kind of return over 10 years? A hot tech stock? Some new crypto coin? Well, the answer is probably not what you're expecting.
Yeah, you heard that right. That incredible 185% growth, it belongs to classic cars. According to the Knight Frank Wealth Report, vintage cars haven't just been some fun hobby, they've actually outperformed the S&P 500 over the last decade. They've even lapped other luxury assets like art, wine, and fancy watches. So this isn't just about passion anymore. We're talking about serious performance.
So what is going on here? Well, in a world with stubborn inflation and markets that seem to go up and down like a yo-yo, savvy investors are starting to look for opportunities outside the box. And this has totally transformed the classic car market from a small club of collectors into a huge global thing.
A huge piece of the puzzle here is the appeal of a tangible asset. You know, unlike a number on a spreadsheet, a classic car is something you can actually see, touch, and experience. It's an investment that gives you an emotional return, that joy of owning it, the absolute thrill of taking it for a spin. A stock certificate just can't compete with that.
And the benefits go even deeper. The value of these cars isn't really tied to the day-to-day drama of the stock market, which makes them an amazing tool for diversifying your portfolio. And, let's be honest, it's an investment you can actually enjoy. It's kind of the ultimate win-win.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is the game for billionaires, right? That's actually a huge misconception. The classic car market has a ton of different entry points, from icons that are surprisingly affordable all the way up to those blue-chip legends.
The range here is pretty amazing. You could get your start with an accessible 80s icon like the Toyota MR2. I mean, who doesn't love pop-up headlights? Or you could aim for the mid-range with the timeless, sleek Italian style of an Alfa Romeo Spider. And then, of course, you have the absolute legends, the blue chips like the Porsche 911, whose racing history makes it a rock-solid investment time and time again. There really is a classic for almost any budget.
All right, so we've looked at the cars that are already icons, but what about the cars being made today? Which of these modern machines has that special something, that DNA to become the collectibles of tomorrow?
Well, the experts are pointing to a few key contenders. The manual version of the Audi R8, that's a huge one. It's a supercar you can actually drive, and with only about 5,000 stick shifts out there, it's that rarity that really counts. Then you have absolute monsters, like the Ferrari 599 GTO and the Mercedes SLS AMG Black Series. We're talking less than 1,000 of those Mercedes ever made. That kind of exclusivity is exactly what drives future value through the roof.
And this brings us to the most important question of all. What is it that separates a priceless classic from just an old car? Because it's definitely not just about age. There are a few key rules to this game.
Exactly. Why is a 20-year-old Ferrari worth a small fortune while a 20-year-old sedan is just a used car? Well, the answer really boils down to 4 key pillars that can turn a car into a legend. So here's the magic formula. First, rarity. How many were made? Second, condition. Is it in perfect shape or has it been sitting in a barn? Third, originality. Does it have all its original parts or has it been heavily modified? And finally, this is the really cool one, cultural significance. Did this car somehow capture the world's imagination?
This quote about the DeLorean just nails it. Let's be real, mechanically, it had some problems. But its role in Back to the Future made it an absolute icon. Its value is forever locked in with that movie. Think about James Bond's Aston Martin DB5 or Steve McQueen's Mustang from Bullitt. That kind of cultural footprint is priceless. Okay, so you're feeling inspired. You're already scrolling through the classifieds. But before you pull the trigger, let's take a minute for a quick reality check. An investment this big and this cool requires some serious homework.
First, figure out what you're going to do with it. A car you drive every weekend is totally different from a super low-mileage collector's piece where every single mile can affect its value. Second, research the real costs. Maintenance, storage, insurance, it all adds up. And third, and this is non-negotiable, get a professional inspection. You need to know exactly what you're getting into.
And you know, that's really the bottom line. It is so easy to get swept up in the beauty and the dream of it all, but the people who are really successful in this space are the ones who balance that passion with smart, practical decisions.
They love the car, for sure, but they've also done the math.
Which leaves us with this final thought. As an asset that has outperformed stocks, something you can touch and drive and get pure joy from, the classic car really is in a class of its own. So, is it a hobby that pays for itself? An investment with the ultimate emotional dividend? Or maybe, just maybe, it's the perfect sweet spot where your heart and your head can finally agree.